Hello everyone, wishing all of you a very happy Dasara or Navratri. It's that time of the year when all my dolls are out on display. This time, for a change, all my dolls have come out into the display. Thanks to your dear friend's help, I've managed to set up this beautiful and elaborate arrangement. I will now be taking you through a virtual tour of the bombe or Golu display. There are mainly 4 parts in the display. These are all the traditional dolls. Most of them are mud dolls. They are many years old, right from my mother-in-law's time. These are all the traditional dolls. I'll be zooming in a little further to the 5 steps. There are mainly 5 steps. In any Golu or bombe display, we display it in odd numbers, either 3, 5, 7 or 9 steps. Mine is 5 steps. I'll be taking you through a walkthrough, starting from the first step display. This is the first step. In any arrangement or in any festival, it's a tradition to keep the Ganesha or the Vigna Vinayaka. Ganesha is said to prevent any obstacles in any function. So the first doll that went into the display was the Ganesha. On to the left is Saraswati, and on to the right is Lakshmi. In the front, on the first step, is the Srinivasa Kalyana set. That is, Venkateshwara and Padmavati's marriage is portrayed through the dolls.
On both left and right side.
On the left is Ishvara and Parvati, and on the right is Brahma and Saraswati. That is the first step. Coming to the second step is the Ashta Lakshmi or the 8 Lakshmis. The label is self-explanatory, I'm sure. This is the third step, which covers the 10 Dashavatara or the 10 avatars of Mahavishnu, starting from Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Krishna, Buddha and Kalki Avatara. Some people also say the 9th Avatara is Balrama. Coming to the 4th step, it is in our Sri Vaishnava tradition, we have 12 gurus, or what is known as alvars. So these are the 12 alvars, and in the center we have depicted Srinivasa and Padmavati. The dolls here in what I'm focusing right now are from my grandmother's time. They're 3 generations old. Navratri is never complete without a Durga, right? This year I'm really blessed that Durga has come into my doll display. The decoration is again done by my dear friend. Beautiful, isn't it? Durga is adding to the beauty of my display. This is the main part of the bombe or the Golu display. This is called the Pattad Gombe or the Raja Rani set. These dolls are given to us at the time of our wedding. In my house, I have 4 dolls two on this side and two on the other side. These are 3 generations old. The one on the rightmost corner is my grandmother's pair. The other one is my mother-in-law's pair. On the other side, this is my pair. And the other one is another pair which we bought extra when we had visited Tirupati. This is mainly, most of the dolls are from Kerala. Those are the traditional elephant dolls from Kerala, which are famous and used during the Trishur Puram. These are the famous 2 Kathakali dolls from Kerala. In the center are 2 beautifully decorated lamps depicting Lakshmi. They're all the puja items usually used in every puja. This is again a traditional, authentic Kerala lamp to go with the Kathakali doll and the Trishur Puram elephant. As authentic as it can get, isn't it? This is a depiction of our native village Chapdi. Chapdi is in Tamil Nadu, just off the Bangalore-Krishnagiri highway. So this is a depiction of a rustic scene of a typical village. This is the temple in our native Chapdi, Prasanna Venkateshwara Swami Temple, Kurmagiri Prasanna Venkateshwara Swami Temple. The Lord there is almost like the one found in Tirupati. This is a depiction of a typical grocery store, the shops which we find near our house, each of our houses. Namma Shetty Angadi. We have tried to display the main grocery items found in any shop. This is the traditional family heirloom handed over to me from my mother's time. All these are silver items, most of them. It includes miniatures of all the puja items used in our daily pujas. These are miniatures of puja items or the Puja Lakshmi set, which are used in all auspicious occasions like weddings or a birth of a child. In Kannada, we call them as Bisokallu, Vonike, Rubbokallu, Mora. All these are items which are used in all major pujas or auspicious occasions. These are miniatures of the objects used. If you remember, we were talking about the 12 alvars or the gurus. Andal is one of the 12 alvars or the gurus. She is the only female guru among the 12 alvars. These dolls depict the life story of Andal. Andal was supposed to have been found by Vishnu Chitta in a Tulsi garden. Andal grew up thinking of Lord Ranganatha as her Lord himself, as a husband himself. Finally, Andal merged with the Lord. These dolls depict the life story of Andal. These are my Angel's dolls or Namma Puttiya Gombegalu, Priyanka's dolls, some of them. That is a dining table, a train, a dressing table, etc. These are dolls from all over the world, gifted to me by friends and family. Some of them I brought by my husband during his visits to other countries. The Eiffel Tower, the Statue of Liberty, the two penguins, which are famous for the penguin parade in Australia, and a few other dolls. Now coming to the second part of my doll display. To me, this is very dear because it is the Mysore Dasara procession. It's a depiction of Namma Dasara procession. The Dasara procession is conducted at Mysore on the last day of Navratri on the Vijayadashmi day. I have tried to depict the procession using miniatures. Right on top is the Mysore Palace, a miniature of the Mysore Palace. The procession is inaugurated by the Raja Rani of the erstwhile Vodayar family. So this is a depiction of the Raja Rani. Next to the Raja Rani, you can see two elephants bearing the Ambari. These are called the Ambari elephants. They carry the howdah during the procession. Coming down a little more further. These are the royal elephants, which are trained for months to take part in the procession. They are decorated beautifully, especially for the procession, especially for the Dasara procession. Coming down further, there is a band set. There are two horses which are taking part in the procession too. There is a complete set of musicians. Here, there are a few staff of the palace. This is a typical folk art. They also take part in the procession. It is called as Keelu Kudire. Isn't the procession beautiful? Like they say in Namma Kannada, Mysuru Dasara Yeshtondu Sundara Alva? Enjoy ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೇನ್ರಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ? ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ? These are miniatures on the first step are some beautiful ceramic dolls. Some of them gifted from my dear sister. On the second step is a bird set. The third step holds the copper miniature collection. The fourth step is the traditional Dokra work, mostly animals and birds. The fourth step covers miniature brass items, cooking items. The last step is miniature of soapstone cooking items. These are some more dolls in my display. It's a wooden Rama Lakshmana Sita set, and a leather camel doll. Coming down, we have what is called as the Krishna Rasa Krida set. Krishna enjoying his time with his gopikas. These are few more of my brass collection. I have a lantern, a teapot, a fan, an iron box, a borewell, and even a dining table set. These are some of my oldest and my dearest dolls. I started my collection with these porcelain dolls 25 years ago as a newly married woman. My collection has built up enormously over the years. This is a fruit stall. These dolls are from my cousins and my aunt's time, handed over to me, added to my collection recently. These are some of the oldest dolls, meaning to say that they are the collection from my mother-in-law's time. These are traditional Kondapali dolls or wooden dolls made in a place called Kondapali in Andhra Pradesh. These are some of the beautiful wire dolls. These are some more dolls from my porcelain collection. Again, some more dolls from my porcelain collection. Most of the dolls have lived with me for more than 20 years. Coming to the third part and the most important part of my Bombay display this year. This year's theme is the handloom heritage of India. We have tried to cover most of the states in our country. Our country, India, has a vast and rich cultural heritage. I have tried my best to portray our colorful country to the best of my capability. During the video, please follow the pointer. This is the handloom map of India, showing the various textiles or fabrics of our country. Starting from the first state, Jammu and Kashmir. This is the Pashmina shawl, which is very famous in Jammu and Kashmir. That is the Vaishno Devi temple. These are some of the jewelry which are famous to Jammu and Kashmir. Coming to the second state, Himachal Pradesh, which is famous for Kulu shawls. That is the famous Himachal apples. That bracelet is a traditional bracelet which is very dear to me. It was brought from Sikkim by my brother-in-law almost 30 years ago and gifted to me. So this is the second state, Himachal Pradesh. Coming to the third state, Uttar Pradesh, which is famous for the chikankari work. Also, Ayodhya, the birthplace of Rama, and the Taj Mahal, one of the 7 wonders of the world, our famous Taj Mahal. That is some of the jewelry which is typical of Uttar Pradesh. Coming to the state of Punjab, the fabric famous there is the Fulkari sari. That is the Golden Temple at Amritsar. Those are a pair of typical Punjabi dolls. That is the jewelry typical of Punjab. Coming to the state of Rajasthan. Rajasthan is famous for the mirror or the shisha work. Shisha work is done on dolls That's a typical Rajasthani decked up doll. Rajasthan is famous for the Nath Dwara Krishna temple. It's also famous for pottery. Now coming to the state of Gujarat, the typical fabric there is the bandhani sari. That's a pair of Gujarat dolls decked up. That's the jewelry typical of Gujarat. Now coming to the state of Odisha or Orissa. Orissa is famous to the Varli sari, also the famous Sun Temple of Konark and the Puri Jagannath Temple. These are the dolls which are used during the Rath Yatra at the Puri Jagannath Temple. This is the jewelry, some of the jewelry which is famous or traditional to the Odisha state. Coming to the state of Assam, the fabric or the textile famous for Assam is the tussar silk. The Kamakya Devi temple is a very famous temple of Assam. Assam is also famous for the cane work which is traditionally made in Assam. That is some of the jewelry which is traditional to the Assam. Now coming to the state of Nagaland. Nagaland is famous for the Nagaland shawls, also for the Dokra artwork. This is another Dokra artwork, a bulakat. This is the jewelry which is famous or traditional to the Nagaland state. Now coming to the state of West Bengal. West Bengal is famous for the fabric, the Kanta work. The Durga Puja at Calcutta is world famous, as we know. These are some of the dolls, the Calcutta dolls, very famous Calcutta dolls. That is the chuda or the bangles which are used by women during the Durga Puja. That is the sindoor kela during the Durga Puja, where women apply sindoor to each other, is world famous and a very famous tradition too. Now coming to the state of Telangana. Telangana is famous for the Pochampalli sari. That is some of the jewelry which is traditional to the Telangana state. This is the Bhadrachala Rama temple which is very famous in the Telangana state. That is also a Rama set to depict the Bhadrachalam Rama temple. Coming to the state of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh is famous for the fabric, the Kalamkari sari. It's also famous for the Tirupati Balaji temple, also the Ahobala Narasimha temple, also the Nandyal Mahanandi temple is famous in Andhra Pradesh. That is the Palamner pottery. Palamner is a place in Andhra Pradesh which is famous for pottery. That's the pottery of Palamner. Coming to the state of Maharashtra. Maharashtra is famous for the Nawari sari, the Shirdi Sai Baba temple, the Kolhapur Mahalakshmi temple, and the Siddhi Vinayak Ganesha temple. That is some of the jewelry tradition of Maharashtra. This is coming to the state of Kerala. That is the traditional Kasavu saree, tradition of Kerala. That is the Guruvayur Krishna temple. Those are the elephants which are used in the Trishur Puram. That is the snake boat which is used at Onam in Kerala. That is some of the jewelry traditional to Kerala. Coming to the state of Tamil Nadu. The textile or saree traditional to Tamil Nadu is the Kanjivaram saree. That is the famous Tanjavur Talayati bombe or the famous Tanjavur doll. That's some of the jewelry typical of Tamil Nadu. Those are the temple jewelry, what is called. That is the Srivalliputtur Andal and the Srirangam Ranganathar. Coming to the state of Madhya Pradesh. The textile typical of Madhya Pradesh is the batik print and the bag print. The temple famous in Madhya Pradesh is the Mahakaleshwar Jyotirlinga. Coming to the state of Bihar. The fabric typical to Bihar is the Bagalpuri silk. In Bihar, the Mahabodhi temple at Bodh Gaya is the most famous. Now coming to our state Karnataka, we have divided into North Karnataka and South Karnataka. Typical to the northern parts of Karnataka is the Ilkal sari with the famous Kasuti work. That is the Mantralaya, and this is the Kudala Sangama. Now coming to the southern part of Karnataka, that's the South Karnataka. The fabric typical of the southern parts of Karnataka is the Mysore silk sari. That is the Srirangapatna temple. That is a famous Kurgi or the Kodava Jodi. These are the famous Chanpatna dolls. That is the famous Narsimha Swami temple at Melkote. That is the Tondonur lake or the Tondonur Kere, and the Ramanujacharya statue at Tondonur. So that was a walkthrough of the main theme of this year's Dasara display. हमारा देश बहुत ही रंगीला है ना? हमारा देश रंगीला. So I have tried to cover all the states and our rich cultural heritage to the best of my capabilities. These are the dolls which are very, very dear to me. I've tried to depict Priyanka enjoying her time with her two immediate cousins. That's Priyanka and her cousins. Beautiful dolls, aren't they? So that covers a major part of the virtual tour of my Gombe or the Golu display. Please keep watching the space for more videos during Navratri. Wishing all of you a very happy Navratri and Dasara once again. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more interesting updates. Stay safe, stay home. Bye bye.